I don't like to reference some of the publications, and I like to cut through the noise and the smoke that's out there. I just ask you direct, when you get back, do you think the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the President can work together and you can get 51 votes to move some things along? Do you think that can be solved? Because right now it just sounds like things are not working very well there.
Well, this president doesn't fit the traditional box that the career politicians expect in a president. He wants results. He's not an ideologue. And he doesn't care about the rules of the Senate. He cares about getting results. That's what people back here, this group we just met with today, that's what they care about. I'm hopeful that they can, because we've got a leader in the White House that will actually sign things into law now. If we pass them in the Senate, this guy will sign them. And so we've got to deal with health care when we get back. We've got to deal with the debt ceiling. But the big thing that's looming in addition to health care is tax. We've got to get tax done this year, and that's a heavy lift, because after September 30th, after funding the government, then we move on to tax. We only have 44 working days before the end of the calendar year. And the reason that's important is so business leaders and all can get some confidence that the President and the Senate and Congress are actually going to change things and make us competitive with the rest of the world in this tax issue.
I know our time is short and we have to wrap this up. Your background in business, as we close, give us some positive highlights. I get tired of hearing all the negatives. Give us some positive highlights that have taken place in business, small business, what small business owners out there, if they can get past the noise of the TV, they could expect that you're working on.
Well, let me give you the big one. Steve Mnuchin says in a hearing in budget that he can address 70 to 80% of the problems in Dodd-Frank. That's huge for small banks, because there are $2 trillion tied up on the balance sheets of small and regional banks unnecessarily under Dodd-Frank. Another one is we've created 1 million jobs so far this year, and we really haven't, and that's largely on the presumption that we're going to continue the regulatory work that we're doing. Some 800 rules have been changed so far, and we're just getting started. The presumption is we're going to change these tax rules and get competitive with the rest of the world. We changed the law that allows the head of the VA to deal with people who are not performing, and to date, over 500 people have been let go for cause for non-performance in the Veterans Administration. So sooner or later, you're going to start getting better performance there. So there are reasons to believe. Consumer confidence is up. I think it's a 16-year high now. CEO confidence is a 20-year high, because they see this president pushing Congress in a direction that takes off the stifling things that the Obama administration did to shut down this economy. You realize the economic growth of the Obama administration years, those 8 years, was the lowest in our history. And he's re-engaged, this president, President Trump, is re-engaging with the rest of the world. I think that's the most positive thing I can tell you. And he's committed to rebuild the military over time. And that's what he promised to do.
Last question, media groups out there, some of them are trying to create the impression that Republicans are moving away from the president, that he's losing support within the party, several senators, members of the House. You yourself, where do you stand on supporting the President of the United States today?
100%. What he's talking about, executing and implementing right now, is what I ran on. Grow the economy, re-engage with the rest of the world, rebuild the military, solve this health care debacle that's collapsing under its own weight, fix the tax system to make us more competitive with the rest of the world. This president knows that we have a debt crisis. He knows that. He knows we have a global security crisis. He's moving in that direction. The first step is to get the economy going, and he did that through regulatory changes, which we're trying to do, and we're being pretty effective about that right now. The tax changes that will come this year, hopefully, will actually be a big help in continuing to do that. And then I think if we can get this healthcare thing done, that'll give people confidence that we're moving in the right direction. This is a president that's moving at a business pace, not a bureaucratic pace. And the reason I support him is this: he's just strong. He's nobody's choir boy. Let's be clear. But neither was Winston Churchill or Eisenhower, people of destiny, people of history. I think we've got a guy now that can actually change the direction of the country, break some eggs in this establishment in Washington, and get something done. And that's why I fully support it.
Senator David Perdue, I just want to thank you this morning as for actually what we see here in Georgia as you keeping your campaign promises. Yep. And we thank you as a true outsider. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
For joining us on FYNTV.com.